Aengus O'Markey, consultant paediatric haematologist here.
Aengus, we're here on the oncology ward. This is the old oncology ward, for the want of a better expression. To the listener who can't see it, just describe where we are.
Well, it's 20 years old. It was state of the art at the time, but it's been a long 20 years, and facilities and standards have moved along hugely in the interim. We've kept up with medical standards and techniques, and our results are as good as anywhere. But unfortunately, the building and the facility has stayed the same.
Let's walk down through the corridor here, and you can tell me again. The first thing that strikes you is you've got Buzz Lightyear. You've got the trappings of a children's ward. But tell us where this ward is falling short.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. We do it up as well as we can. We've got wonderful Christmas decorations and Patrick's Day decorations, and then Easter decorations. So we patch it up as well as we can. But there's no getting away from the underlying fact that the infrastructure is just insufficient, inadequate for what we need at the moment. What
kind of children are treated in this ward?
Every child in Ireland with a diagnosis of cancer is treated here.
Every child?
Everybody. They get their initial diagnosis and treatment planning, and the vast majority of the treatment is delivered here.
So we're talking about very sick children, therefore. I mean, the type of child that you treat would be a child who's got leukemia?
They're all life-threatening illnesses, either solid tumours or leukemia, lymphoma.
So when we're in these wards, the first thing that strikes me is a lot of these are isolation wards, but they're isolation wards with two patients inside.
Yeah. Well, most of the rooms are double rooms. We have one or two single rooms, but the greatest deficit here at the moment is that none of the rooms you'll see have ensuite facilities. What that means is that if the children are well enough, they can travel across the hallway, down the hallway here to one of three basically public toilets on the ward that they can use and share. And if they're too sick to travel out, they've got to use the commode, and the parents have to slop out basically.
So
and carry the stool and the business with them across down the hallway, past other patients into the sluice room to slop out.
And not being crude, but it's all sloshing around inside in the commode. Yeah. Why is it so dangerous to have sick children who are recovering from leukemia?
Well, all the children here are on chemotherapy. You can see most of them don't have any hair. A lot of them are very, very sick, and their immune systems are extremely weakened by that treatment. So they're particularly susceptible to the type of bugs in the environment and the type of bugs that you get in stool and urine samples.
They get the best of medical care, but the conditions is what's letting them down here. So what is proposed? What's going to be different with the new ward?
Well, we have a number of phases. This current fundraising campaign is really to bridge the gap between now and the new hospital. We're several years away from that. We're halfway there. We've already gotten the end of the ward. The bone marrow transplant unit is being redone. But the great deficit here, where the bulk of the treatment is delivered, is the en-suites. So what we need now is to get en-suites in each of these patient rooms.
What's it like as a doctor to have to work in these conditions? Because what you want is you want to save lives, you want to help parents whose children are sick, you want to help the children. But in this environment, what's it like to work?
Yeah. Well, it's hugely fulfilling because we do save lives. I'm a very small part of a very big team that actually does save the lives of most of the children that come through. But we could do it an awful lot better. Our survival rates are as good as anywhere in the world, and I don't think we'll improve on them. But the quality of the care, the parents and the children's, their experience when they're coming through here, we could do an awful lot better. And the dignity as well of being sick. It's bad enough to be taken into a hospital, have your clothes taken from you, to be confined to a bed, but we could help hugely with patients' and children's and parents' dignity if we could allow them pee in the room and not have to walk outside to pee, or pee in a bucket, or pee in a bottle.
Does that frustrate you, that it's something so basic?
Yeah, it does. And the team here do a wonderful job, but it could be so much better if we just had the infrastructure to be able to deliver it.
I'm just looking at the corridor, and we'll continue our walk down the corridor if we can, but if you have to tell a parent how their child is doing, or sometimes I presume you're going to have to give a parent bad news.
We do, and trust, particularly on the first day when the parents arrive here, they see us, they've been hit with this awful diagnosis locally. They come up here and they meet the consultant and the team, and we tell them we're the team that can make your child better, and most of the time we can make them better. But then the parents are looking around and they say, how can I trust you to make my child better when I didn't get rid of the
There's plastic
dirty,
bags here on the floor that are just dirty linen or something.
yeah, the dirty linen on the ground. How can I trust you to look after my child when you can't fix the broken beds in the hallway?
And how do you restore that trust?
They see it. I think as time goes by, they can see the quality of the care they get. But it's a hard sell initially sometimes when they look around and they're saying, I like what this guy is saying, I like the team, they look like they know what they're doing, but how come they're in such awful surroundings? How can I trust them to look after my child?
Is there anywhere here even that you can have a private word? Because I see everything, like everything else, it's very open and there doesn't seem to be a huge amount of space.
There's a little room down at the end of the hallway that we can take parents for privacy if there are some very sensitive conversations to be had. Otherwise we have to wait for the other parent in the room, the other family in the room to leave, and maybe ask the other family to leave so that we can have a private conversation with the family. We never speak to families like that in the hallway. We always do, but it is a struggle to get somewhere in the room that's private.
With the room as it is, you've got parents who are here, and you've got parents who live here effectively, I imagine, for long periods of time. And what you want to do for them, they're not sick, but they're with someone who's very sick and they want to do the best by them.
Yeah. Well, we do have parent accommodation in the hospital where the parents can stay. We've got a wonderful Ronald McDonald house across the way that gives a wonderful service where not only the parents can stay, but other children can stay as well for prolonged periods. But there will be days when the parents just can't leave the hospital, they've got to stay. And every parent, most children have a parent by their side at night time. They may take turns, but they do need to stay in the room. And at the moment I've got to put a little camp bed out and put the camp bed alongside the child's bed, and it really leaves very little room, as you can see in any of these rooms. Yeah. There's basically barely enough room for the camp bed, the child's bed, and there's very little room for anything else.
You can't do anything.
Any movement at night time.
Normal life, and it's very hard to talk about normal life in a circumstance where a child has cancer, but there is no normal life.
No, there isn't, and the parents put up with this because they're in such an awful situation. But it doesn't have to be like this.
I've just seen a parent pass by there with parent gloves on, bringing a nappy.
Yeah,
bringing a nappy down.
I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, but that's what they have to do.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm looking around. We've got on the walls. We've got The Simpsons. I saw Katie Taylor. No shortage of goodwill towards this ward, is there?
Oh no, they've all been in. Not The Simpsons, but Katie Taylor's been in. She gave everybody a great lift, and it's huge goodwill. And not only from the celebrities, but from the ordinary Irish people, we get a huge amount of support. And we're just asking for a little extra help now to finish the job. We're halfway there, as I said.
Aengus, for somebody to be on this ward, they're already engaged in a fight, a big fight.
Yeah.
What is being asked of them is to come here and to fight that. It's almost a dirty fight, what they have to do to try and go exist on this ward for as long as they have to be here.
Yeah.
You want that fight to go away.
The fight to go away?
You want the second fight to go away, the fight, fight to stay on this ward.
Yeah, no, I suppose to use the Katie Taylor analogy, there's no point sending her to the Olympics with a second-hand pair of gloves or defective gear. It's like asking a top sports person or a carpenter to do the job with a blunt saw.
Let's go down to the end of the corridor here, because it's at the very end of the corridor that that the new bit is, for the want of a better expression. You're halfway towards funding this.
Well, behind this wall is the first phase of the redevelopment, and it'll contain areas for adolescents, or the older children, where we can finally be able to separate adults or older children from younger children, and much more importantly our bone marrow transplant unit. So that was the biggest need that we had, and once that's established, then we need to do the same for the regular ward here, the bulk of the beds. So we've looked after the highly specialised areas, but they are only a small minority of the children. Less than 5% of the children that come here will need a bone marrow transplant. And now we're going to concentrate on the other 95%.
I'm going to ask you a personal question. I won't ask you how old you are, but I'll phrase it differently. When did you train to become a doctor? When did you know you were going to come to Crumlin?
Well, I started medical school in 1982, qualified in 89. went off to America for 8 years, and always knew I wanted to come back. And this is the only show in town for specialised paediatric haematology.
So what year was that? You came back here?
97, 15 years.
Okay, so in 15 years, apart from a lick of paint and the morale of the staff and the good hard work put in, has that changed?
Very well. The medicines have changed. The survival rates have increased. Even in that 15 years, we're getting much better results now than we even did then. The parents have changed, the staff has changed, the medicines have changed, but the building hasn't changed. It's the same doors that we opened, same floors, same scratches on the wall that was there 15 years ago.
There's people who listen to this say, we're getting a new children's hospital, why should we be investing so much money in something that's possibly going to be defunct in 4 or 5 years' time? What do you say to that?
Well, it'll never be defunct. It'll always be used for some, I would hope, some healthcare need, but we just can't wait that long. We've got at least 5 years for the new hospital, and the children that are diagnosed this year, next year, even in 4 years' time, the children that are diagnosed will not benefit from the new hospital. So there's a very real need to look after the kids that are going to be diagnosed over the next 5 and possibly 10 years.
All the talk of the new children's hospital will be very welcome when it arrives.
Yep.
There are babies that haven't been born yet that will still be treated on this ward.
Absolutely, yeah. Many children, in fact, an awful lot of the children we see in 3 years' time haven't been born yet.
It must be a very fulfilling job doing what you do. We talked earlier on about giving parents bad news or bringing them away, but to give them good news, what is that like, to say that what we've done has worked, that your child no longer has cancer or the cancer is in remission?
Oh, you're right, it's very fulfilling. There isn't a day when we say it's gone completely. There isn't a cut-off or a magic day where we say now it's gone completely. It comes kind of gradually with time over the completion of therapy. But by and large, 5 years out from the end of treatment, if there's no sign of relapse, it's extremely unlikely to happen. And every Thursday morning I have a big clinic, and all those children still come back for yearly checkups. And that's the fulfilling part, when you see these children going off to college and having their own children and just getting doing normal childhood things.
When do you think the new hospital will open? Do you care? Do you care as long as the kids are treated properly here in the meantime?
Yeah, well, no, I do care deeply. It'll be fantastic when it is built. As to when it'll be built, it'll be sometime between 5 years' time.